A falling meteor. A small blue object slammed into the ground at an engineering college over the weekend, causing a very loud explosion. A bus driver standing nearby was hit by debris and died on the way to the hospital. Today, officials examined the 5-foot-wide crater left behind, but have not yet determined where the object came from.
Bright spot in the sky that had a lot of people talking across the southern part of the state last night. That fireball went streaking across the sky.
Now to new concerns about the Zika virus as athletes prepare for the Olympics in Brazil. Soccer star Hope Solo is speaking out, saying she's so concerned that if she had to make a choice right now, she wouldn't go to Rio.
This morning, the Zika virus crisis now striking fear in some of our nation's top athletes. U.S. soccer star Hope Solo saying if she had to choose whether to go to the Summer Games in Brazil now, she wouldn't go. Solo, who helped her team to World Cup victory in 2015, also saying no athlete competing in Rio should be faced with this dilemma.
Zika virus is a scary thing that is very unknown. Hopefully some of those unknowns will become a little bit more known with the research that they do in the following months.
We're certainly sensitive to the fact that this has become a global issue.
A state of emergency is being issued over dengue fever on the Big Island as the state reported one new case, bringing the total number of cases to 251.
Tonight, investigators believe they're getting closer to finding the source of a salmonella outbreak in Estill County. This comes as more illnesses possibly linked to that outbreak are being reported.
Now to a health scare on a local college campus. 100 students are sick at Ursinus College, and tonight doctors are looking into whether it's food poisoning or a virus.
Well, the medical director tells us that the college has never experienced a stomach virus that's this widespread.
Ursinus College says 7 more students reported feeling sick as part of an outbreak that's brought that Montgomery County campus to a standstill. Now, the first reports came in Tuesday. Ursinus says a handful of faculty and staff have also reported symptoms. The school shut down its dining hall and canceled classes because of the outbreak. They still, though, have not figured out just what is causing this.
At the beginning of February, several small earthquakes have shaken Maine close to the Canadian border, and just today, another earthquake recorded near Rangeley.
Earthquakes are becoming more and more frequent in Kansas, with a 3.9 magnitude quake shaking Oklahoma and Kansas just last month. Now, Derby schools want to be prepared.
Substantial earthquake rattling the Sooner State today. A 3.8 magnitude quake hit near Medford around 2:40 this afternoon, according to the USGS. And it was not alone. 4 other sizable quakes struck today, ranging from 2.6 to 3.5 magnitude. No immediate word of any damage. Oklahoma this year has already had more than 90 earthquakes of magnitude 3.0 or greater.
The village of Macadam in southwest New Brunswick has become the epicenter of what is called earthquake swarms. And it's not the first time people who live around Macadam have felt the vibrations from quakes, but the residents say this most recent swarm is the worst they've ever experienced.
It's just like somebody's picking your house up and holding it in the air and dropping it back down.
Others said it was as if a train had exploded through the town, or their home had been hit by an 18-wheel transport truck.
They're like explosions, and they just kept happening.
Tell me what's going on in Macadam. It's quite a mystery there.
And good morning, Heather. That's right, certainly a mystery, and these aren't the kind of earthquakes, or the descriptions of these events aren't the kind of earthquakes that we're used to with the rumbling and the movement. Instead, as you said, residents are saying that they sound like explosions.
I have felt too since I've been here today. It's like a vibration stirring under your feet.
Just before 4 o'clock this morning in Taiwan, people were shaken out of bed by a magnitude 6.4 earthquake.
This is video of a deadly 6.4 magnitude earthquake that hit near the southern city of Tainan, Taiwan, Saturday. From the air, the extent of the damage is clearly visible. 9 buildings in Tainan collapsed, but the damage is especially evident on the ground. Cars crushed, more than 500 now homeless. Seismologists say the earthquake struck close to the surface.
The entire building was just shaking very violently. It was quite loud.
The quake struck just as the Taiwanese were preparing to celebrate one of their biggest holidays, the Lunar New Year. Now it's a nation in mourning.
I felt it this morning, but a 5.1 magnitude earthquake shook homes all across Oklahoma today. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the 5.1 rating makes it the third largest earthquake in state history. Right now, homeowners say that all the shaking is starting to damage their homes.
People who fell as a magnitude 5.7 earthquake hit near Christchurch today. The quake struck shortly after 1 p.m. Pictures have emerged of a cliff face crumbling into the sea at Sumner Beach.
Watch the cliff give way. Look at this. This is unbelievable. That's massive, right? That is what the hell?
Rough ride for passengers caught in a storm on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship off the coast of North Carolina. And Natalie's here. This is some dramatic video.
It sure does. Hey guys, good morning. Well, the Weather Service had issued a warning for hurricane force winds, and some passengers say the ship's crew told them about the storm and said they would try to beat it, but conditions were far worse than anyone expected.
New details tonight on the rough day at sea for thousands of people on board a Royal Caribbean cruise ship.
That's right. Tonight, a Florida senator is demanding answers, asking why did the ship sail into rough weather in the first place?
When the storm is brewing, you don't go out of port.
Florida Senator Bill Nelson is asking the question many Royal Caribbean passengers have on their minds.
Worst experience? Yeah, only the movies.
But the Anthem of the Seas captain says he didn't realize the magnitude of the storm ahead of time. And he's now defending his decision to set sail with a storm brewing in the Atlantic.
The whole thing was not bigger than this and was up here and it just exploded.
In a video broadcast internally to all 4,500 passenger staterooms Monday, Captain Klaus Anderson, who ordered everyone on board the ship to stay in their rooms, says he's never experienced anything like it.
Honestly, have not seen low pressure that was not forecasted. Anything near what we actually experienced.
Several viewers were startled this morning by a loud boom that shook their homes. Several calls and messages came into our information center asking us what was going on.
Now, this remains a mystery. I have put in several calls to various state and federal agencies. So far, no one can confirm what this was.
The whole ground was shaken out here. It was a cement out there, and the house was shaken.
Sue Eastman didn't know what was going on. It was just before 10 a.m. when she heard the loud boom.
It was just a short kind of a boom like that, and you could hear everything kind of shake.
As Sue was trying to figure out what happened, so were several others.
I had people from all over, from the lake area here. My neighbors were saying that they felt it, they heard it. People in Morley, up by Everett even. I have family up by Sears, and they heard it up there.
According to the National Weather Service and the U.S. Geological Survey, it was not an earthquake.
It made a rumble, almost like a thunder.
So far, no military bases in Michigan seem to know where the alleged sonic boom came from. According to the Michigan National Guard, there are no planes fast enough based in Michigan that can create a sonic boom. For those who experienced it, it was something they've never felt before.
But it was just like my whole house shook.
Now, controversy brewing in our space community. A group is threatening to file a lawsuit against NASA because Johnson Space Center has banned the word Jesus from an employee newsletter. Anusha Rost is live now at JFC tonight with the decision that some are calling censorship.
This 30-year employee of the space agency remains convinced some Christians at JSC are being censored.
We're committed. We want to stand for Jesus.
The attorney is giving NASA 30 days to clarify its stance on the use of the word Jesus in that newsletter.
Separation between church and state remains a debated topic, and a newly proposed bill in the Georgia House is contributing to that discussion.
House Bill 870 would essentially ensure students' First Amendment rights. More specifically, it says schools that receive state funding can't be a part of an athletic association that prohibits the student athletes from sporting quotes or Bible verses on their bodies. The bill also says schools cannot participate in athletic associations that prohibit member schools from playing with other non-member schools.
Beyond wearable technology, it's now time for embedded medical implants. It may sound either frightening or exciting to you, but one day in a near future, we might all biohack ourselves. And health wearables are indeed set to make a difference in 2016. But it seems like another trend could soon change the way we treat illnesses, and that is embeddable tech implants.
Real-life cyborgs are now among us. These citizen scientists are altering cells, DNA, even hacking their own bodies with sights set on the future.
I've got an implant in my finger. I've got a chip in my hand.
An underground movement known as biohacking is pushing to advance the human race.
Yeah, these citizen scientists are altering cells, DNA, and even hacking themselves by implanting electronic devices into their own bodies.
What I'm interested in is functional implants that can track my health data, that can make me, a stronger, faster, better human.
These biohackers are the experiment, but they emphasize that years of planning and research are put in before they grab the scalpel. Still, not for everybody. No. Although, I bet the guy with the magnet in his finger makes a lot of money in bars.
I was going to say, that's quite a pickup line.
Yeah,
like, look
exactly.
at me, I'm going to levitate rock.
Very impressive.
Yeah, I don't think so. Like I said, unless they can come up with a chip that'll clean my house in 1 hour for me, I'm not going to be implanting anything.
We could put a radar in your head or something.
Well, sometimes I feel it's already there.
Yeah, exactly.
The only salvation for this sin is the gospel. The only way to really cure that what's on the inside is understanding that Jesus Christ died for our sins. And so to me, on a micro level, it's understanding.
Oh, and just like that, we lost him. I know.
The Israeli Prime Minister has unveiled a new plan to surround the entire state of Israel with a security fence. The barrier would also seal off all openings in the West Bank security wall.
He says it will take several years to build the fence promised by Netanyahu.
Israel is currently building a new fence to protect a newly built Israeli airport just outside the city of Eilat. Now, in a statement, Netanyahu expressed his intention to surround all of the state of Israel with walls and border fences. Essentially, Netanyahu is declaring a new long-term and comprehensive project that will seal off the entire state of Israel to the outside world.
You may have heard in the news that a potentially major discovery on the Golan Heights was made by Genie or AFEC. They have a nearby license. In fact, if you look this way, you can see the general area where they're drilling on the Golan Heights.
Jewish immigration from Western Europe to Israel has reached an all-time high. It's because of rising anti-Semitic attacks.
The Asolan family is among the 8,000 people who emigrated from France to Israel this year.
Part of a multi-year plan to ensure Israel's security.
see this? That's the strange sight that lit up our San Diego skies this morning and our phones in our newsroom as well.
Before the sun was up, Frank Redmond captured this splash of light on his dash cam. Robert Quimby is an astronomy professor at SDSU and the director of the Mount Laguna Observatory. He's never seen anything like it in person and said it was unusually bright.
There's a couple instances when it brightens and then fades and then brightens and fades.
And then it vanished. Quimby said it was likely a space rock ripping through the sky.